Show me.
Martial arts and kung fu movies are a truly underlooked genre. When you think about the genre, you may see Jackie Chan, Tony Jaa, or samurai films of Japan. Then you may come up with JCVD. And you wouldn't be wrong. Those are without a doubt martial arts movies. But I believe that many other films fit the bill. Movies that you never consider may have the exact same core DNA as kung fu and martial arts films. But before we get to today's subject, we need to break down what makes up your typical martial arts movie. Now, this doesn't describe every fight flick, but a vast number of movies can be broken down by these 5 core elements. Number 1, fight scenes. This one is pretty obvious. Martial arts movies gotta have the fight scenes, whether they be hand-to-hand or weapons-based action. Number 2, training sequences. Training sequences are how we see our protagonists develop into heroes. Need some examples? Jackie Chan in almost any of his early films. A plethora of Hong Kong classics like Shaolin vs. Lama or Seven Grandmasters. One-Armed Swordsman, and hell, even Rocky. Number 3, wise old teacher. Just about every young hero of martial arts has a wise old master to guide them on their path. Sohai in Drunken Master, Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid, Shifu in Kung Fu Panda, and even Mickey in Rocky. Number 4, revenge. This one is pretty obvious. Maybe the villain killed the hero's master, parental figure, or other loved one. Best examples come from films like Fearless Hyena, The Big Boss, and hey, look at that, Rocky IV when Drago killed Apollo. Number 5, epic villain. The best martial arts movies have awesome villains. We see this with characters like Yuri Boyka in Undisputed 2, Mr. Han in Enter the Dragon. Last Dragon has shown up.
Kiss my Converse.
And the most famous kung fu villain of them all, Pai Mei. With all of these elements in mind, let's dive into today's film as we ask, is Roadhouse a martial arts movie? Oh, and spoilers ahead.
Sorry, we're closed.
Fight scenes. Roadhouse is absolutely full of fight scenes. Just about everything from crazy bar brawls to one-on-one duels to the death. Roadhouse has fight scenes like Whiplash has drum solos. If you want to take things one step further, a lot of martial arts movies have a secret technique, and that is definitely what I think of when I see Swayze rip out a guy's throat. Plus, they brought in Benny the Jet Urquidez to teach Swayze. And you don't bring a guy like that in unless you have some serious clashes to prepare for. Fight scenes? Check.
Give me the biggest guy in the world, you smash his knee, he'll drop like a stone.
Maybe I ought to kick your ass.
Moving on to training sequences. Now, Roadhouse is actually lacking in the training department. We see Patrick Swayze do some boxing drills out of frustration, but that's about it. However, we do see Swayze working some Tai Chi exercises in a scene that truly reminds me of Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon and Way of the Dragon. So for that, let's go ahead and give it half a check.
You wanna fight, dickless?
I sure ain't gonna show you my dick.
Next up, we've got the wise old teacher. This is another one where I thought Roadhouse really doesn't fit the mold of a martial arts film. Then I remembered who was in this movie. Sam Elliott is just about as close to the wise old teacher role as you can get. We never see him teach Swayze any moves or anything, but he does tell some old stories and dish out some words of wisdom. And honestly, how do you hear that voice and not give it to him just for that? Wise old teacher? Check.
Doc, I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. Thanks for the dance.
You're made for each other.
Into number 4 with revenge. Here's where the major spoiler is. So if you're worried about that, then jump ahead to the time on the screen. You have 3 seconds. Okay, this one took a while as there aren't really any revenge elements through about 88% of the movie. And then someone commits a cardinal sin by killing Sam Elliott. When Swayze finds his already injured mentor with a knife in his chest, the audience wants payback just as badly. Go kick some ass, Swayze. Revenge? Check.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Last up, we've got the villain. Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley is pretty damn evil. He's got an army of henchmen, and one of them, as Swayze says, really is an asshole. But for a film that came out in the 80s, I don't think that the villain stacks up to the bad guys of that era. Sure, he's a dick, but he isn't up there with Cobra Kai, Hans Gruber, or even Biff Tannen. Yes, he isn't as bad as you, Sho'nuff. Brad Wesley is an evil son of a bitch, but I don't think he has much staying power. I'm gonna give this a quarter of a check, but even that might be a bit too generous.
Prepare to die. You were such an asshole.
So with 3 3/4 out of 5, I think we can accurately conclude that for the most part, Roadhouse is a martial arts movie. But come on, this was pretty obvious. I mean, just one glance at Roadhouse and it looks like a martial arts film. Pretty easy question to answer for our first episode. The plot is essentially a fistful of dollars, which in itself is literally Yojimbo. But how do you feel about Roadhouse being a martial arts film? Does it work, or am I completely nuts? Tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, go ahead and tell me what movies you think might secretly be martial arts movies. Don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.